Hey friends, welcome back to my kitchen. Since the Carnivore Crisp Company, say that 5 times fast, came out with their new meat flours, chicken breast flour, beef organ flour. They also have a grass-fed beef flour. They have since moved to bags for all of them. I still have some in the jars, but if you order, you will get them in the bags now, which I love. But I have been asked many times recently if my protein breading recipe where I use pork rinds would work with the meat flours. And I'm pretty confident that the answer is yes, but since I have not tried it with the meat flours specifically, I wanted to go ahead and test it out and make sure I can answer that definitively. Another thing that I'm really curious about is if in my protein breading, if I use the beef and organ blend flour, if it will taste like organs. I am not a huge fan of organs. I have tried, back in my paleo days, I tried really hard to get myself to like beef liver. I tried doing all the things to make it palatable. I tried eating it when I was really hungry to teach my body that it was a good thing. I tried having it every day, just thinking that the more I had it, the more my body would get used to it. Spoiler alert, my body did not get used to it, and I still cannot stand the taste. But I do think organs are valuable, at least a little bit in our diet sometimes. And if I can sneak them into something delicious like chicken strips, I am all for that, both for me and for my family. Okay, so I am gonna do one batch with the chicken flour, and I am gonna do one batch with the beef and organ flour, and we will see how they work out. There are 3 base ingredients in the breading recipe, either pork rinds or a meat flour, some egg white powder, and some gelatin. And then beyond that, you can add whatever spices you like. To my first bowl, I'm gonna add 2 ounces of the chicken flour, and I love using my kitchen scale for this. I don't have to get any measuring cups dirty at all. And then to this bowl, I'm gonna add my 2 ounces of the beef and organ flour. Next, I'm gonna add a tablespoon of beef gelatin to each bowl, and that is about 10 grams. I use Now brand beef gelatin and I love it, but any unflavored gelatin should probably work. Next thing I'm gonna add is a 1/2 cup of egg white powder to each bowl, and a 1/2 cup of egg white powder is supposed to weigh about 40 grams. Definitely recommend weighing your ingredients out if you can. It just is more accurate that way. I'm gonna stir both of these up and then decide on the seasonings. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do yet. Full disclosure, I can smell the organs mixing it like this. If I make this and I feel like the organ flavor is too strong, I'll probably try a batch mixed 1/2 and 1/2 with either the chicken or just the plain beef flour and see if that disguises it a little bit more. There's that. It almost looks like graham cracker crumbs. And the chicken one. For seasoning, I decided to do some organic Redmond's seasoned salt, which is absolutely delicious. I'm gonna do about 2 teaspoons, maybe a tablespoon. Yeah, let's just do a full tablespoon in each. Get it really flavorful. And there is already salt in the meat flours, so you want to be careful not to over salt your breading. For my egg wash, before I dip the chicken strips into the breading mixture, I'm just doing 1 whole egg and a dash of heavy cream, probably like a tablespoon or a tablespoon and a half. So I just decided to go ahead and do a 3rd batch, but I'm just gonna take a little bit of this and a little bit of this and mix it together and see how the flavor of that compares to just the organ blend alone and the chicken flour alone. We'll do about 1 ounce of each here. And just get that mixed up too. You know, for science. Before I start breading my chicken strips, I'm gonna get my pan and my bacon fat heated up. I just save this bacon fat from whenever I cook bacon, and it's great for frying and cooking veggies in and pretty much anything. Putting in, I don't know, maybe a 1/2 cup to 3/4 of a cup, and I'm gonna just heat it up on medium. So each batch of the breading mixture makes about 1 pound of chicken tenders. I made 2 batches, so I should be able to do about 2 pounds, and this tray was 2 pounds, so it works out great. I'm gonna just quickly dip my chicken tenders into the egg and then toss them in the breading. And this is just one of those monotonous jobs. You gotta, turn on some music or a podcast or something and enjoy that while you just do the monotonous job of breading these chicken strips. I have the heat turned just below medium now because I don't want the breading to cook too fast, before the inside of the chicken gets cooked. It's just starting to smoke, so I'm certain it's done and ready to go. But to check it, you can always put in a little breading, and if it starts sizzling like that, it means it's ready to go. So I am going to cook the chicken flour only ones first. And keep in mind that the chicken flour is more of a powder than pork rinds are. So I actually had some breading left over, and I probably could have double breaded these pretty easily, just putting them back into the egg and then back into the flour mixture again. But I just decided to keep it simple and just do one breading, but it will bread more. One recipe will bread more than that 1 pound that I was mentioning, probably like 1.5 pounds. About 3 to 4 minutes per side, but of course it depends on the thickness of your chicken tenders, and you should always check the internal temperature of the chicken, or cut it open, make sure it's not still pink inside. But look at how beautiful those look. Oh. So you can see it has a little bit different texture of breading than my original breading recipe, just because the pork panko or pork rind crumbs are, bigger crumbs, and the meat flours are a lot finer. So depending on what you're going for, you have options. Okay, I'm going to call these good. Beautiful. And I'm just going to put them on a paper towel lined plate to drain, and then I'm going to just cycle through and do the other 2 kinds. So you can kind of see the gradient in color here. We got our lightest ones that are the chicken breast, the middle ones here that are the chicken breast plus beef and organ, and then these ones that are all beef and organ. I think I'm going to try the ones that are all beef and organ first, just with a clean palate. I just want to see how it hits me. I'll try them with some sauce in a minute, but I want to try the first test just plain, just to see if it'll even be possible to pass these off onto the kids and have them not notice. So here is the beef and organ blend. I will say the smell has pretty much dissipated. When I was mixing up the breading, I definitely could smell the organs, but after cooking, I don't smell them as much, so that gives me hope. I'm waiting for it to hit me. I do not taste any organs. I was expecting a little bit of something, but I think my kids might actually eat these. Those are delicious. Oh my gosh. I am so excited. I was totally expecting these to still have a strong organ flavor, but they really don't. This is definitely a winner. And of course I know these other ones are gonna be good. Like, I started with the ones I was the most concerned about, and the rest of them, I'm sure they're gonna be great, but we'll try all 3 kinds. So mixture, chicken, breast flour, and beef and organ flour. The chicken tender inside is more chewy on this one. They were not very, good quality chicken tenders. I just grabbed what I could afford. But the breading is phenomenal. Definitely a winner on that one. Very, very good. All right, let's see how the chicken breast alone is. Just look at that. It looks so perfect. I love it. And as always, I love about this breading that it sticks to the chicken or to whatever you're breading. It doesn't just come off as a breading sleeve like some other breadings can. It just adheres to whatever it is you're breading, and it just, I love it. It makes it so easy. Okay, I'm going to taste this. This one might be the crispiest of all of them, possibly. The flavor is so good because it has that extra like chicken savoriness in the breading. No complaints whatsoever, man. It is super good. So the chicken breast flour especially is extremely low fat. So if you want it to taste its best, do this in the pan, frying it in some kind of a grease. If you are doing like a PSMF or lean days and you want something very low fat, the chicken breast flour is a really great choice. If you cook in the air fryer, it's gonna taste dry. I mean, that's just the reality of it because there's gonna be almost no fat in it whatsoever. So if you want it to be super low fat, then you might endure the dryness. If you do want to cook these in the air fryer and have them not be so dry, just spray them really heavily with oil before you cook, and that should help them out. But I definitely recommend doing the pan with bacon grease or some kind of a frying fat to have it taste its best. It's so good, you guys. Oh man, absolutely delicious. All right, thanks for coming along on this experiment in the kitchen with me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, I have a discount code to Carnivore Crisps. If you want to check out their different flours, definitely check those out and get a discount. If you do not want to purchase those, I do have my original protein breading recipe with pork rinds, and that version, as long as you can tolerate pork, is also a top-notch, delicious version. So there are options there. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you again in the next video. So I wanted to give an update about how my family enjoyed these after I made them. I decided not to stick a camera in their face to get their taste test because I figured that would taint the results of the experiment. My husband was the first one to try them. He didn't notice anything weird about them. I did tell him that there were organs in there. And so since then, every time I've made him something, he'll say, "So how many organs are in this?" And I have to say none. Anyways, so then some of the other kids tried them as well. Again, they loved them. I was so shocked that the taste of the organs really didn't come through hardly at all. So if you are looking for ways to sneak organs into foods for your family, I highly recommend this technique.